Aw, shit. Here we go again.
Welcome to the Sloppy Book Club podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Celese, and welcome back to season 3, episode 21. On this week's episode, we are going to be giving you the rundown of how we did for our 12 for 12 reading goal. If you don't remember, this was when we decided there were 12 weeks left in the year. We were going to read 12 books, or our 12 most our hopefuls.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait to do this because one of us did amazing. I'm just gonna say that, while the other not so much. But that's okay. That's
That is
reading.
okay.
It's
Yes.
it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So to get us started, Jenny, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Truly. Surprise, surprise. Honestly, I just didn't have time to go to the store. So this is what I have, and it's a strawberry lemonade.
Oh, I
But
love
next
that
episode, I'm gonna have something brand new. I promise.
No worries. So, funny thing is, I made Angel on his way home pick up something for me, and it was actually something we had during Thanksgiving, and it is a Down East, their limited edition caramel apple. I already had it before, and I love it. So I told him to actually get this one specifically. You know the
Nice.
donut one, they don't have it still. The
Really?
donut cider one? Yeah, they said it's seasonal.
That's what happened to my remember that like those little Bud Light drinks that I used to get? It was like the apple Rita, cran
Yes,
Rita.
yes, yes. Hmm.
So the apple Rita was like the first one that I ever had from them, and it was only that one time. They never had it
It's so
again.
annoying. Like,
Frustrating.
yeah. Yeah, because during Thanksgiving I told Angel to pick up some because the last time I went, they were like, "Oh, we're out of it. We should be getting more." And then weeks went by and I never checked in. And I was like, "Oh, for Thanksgiving, I'll bring a case for the family or whatever." And Angel went in and he was like, "Yeah, they're not gonna have it seasonal." And I'm like,
That's
it
annoying.
was so good. So hopefully I remember next year and get it.
Stock up.
But yeah, the caramel apple is pretty good. And Down East is
Yeah.
pretty good anyway, so I like their
I still
stuff.
haven't tried it. I gotta
Down
try it.
East, yeah, they're pretty good. I like
Yeah.
it. Just a hard cider. Can't go wrong. All right. Ready?
I'm ready. So I'm
All
gonna
right.
do a few because surprise, surprise, I pretty much read all of my 12 for 12. Almost, all but one. I went into
So
like a camp,
11. Well, the
like
the year's not up yet, so it's possible for you to
it's not.
do all 12.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, we'll talk about it at the end because we're doing our
Okay.
TBRs at the end.
Okay.
Um, so I'm gonna talk about a few of mine and then Celeste can talk about hers as well.
Yeah.
So my first one was An Appetite for Miracles by Lake and Zaya Kemp. I knew 100% I was gonna like this one. It sounded super sweet. It's the one that was gonna be sad. Like the girl had or her dad had dementia, her grandfather, and then the boy works with his uncle by
Okay, yeah.
for them. So yeah, I cried. It was an inverse novel, and it just basically deals with pain and healing. And I absolutely loved the main characters' relationships. It was super sweet, and I know you're gonna love it a lot. So I think you should add it to your long TBR.
My
Okay?
never ending. Yes.
Yeah, but I think you're actually gonna really love this one. So I
It
know you
might
should.
it might be what I need to read at some point anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said it was an inverse one.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I love
I
those.
know. Yeah.
They're
It
so
was
poetic and beautiful. I love it.
They really are. Those are some of my favorites to read.
Hmm.
Um, all right. Just so you know, I'm kind of sniffly, so if I sound a little weird, that's
No
I'm
judgment.
trying not to like sniffle so much. All right. Um, the next one was Drop Dead Sisters, and that's by Amelia Diane Coombs, and that's the murder mystery about three estranged sisters who accidentally kill someone at a campsite. Um, I like this
I'm
one too. I
so
enjoyed it.
eager to read that one too because like how do you I guess I was gonna say how do you accidentally kill someone, but that's possible in a lot of different ways. But
Yes,
um
it
yeah.
is. It definitely is. This one's like it's a murder mystery, but it's on the lighter side of like the feeling you get when you read or watch a murder mystery, like it's super tense. This one wasn't because there was a lot of humor in it because they're sisters
Okay.
and it's like a big family that go to like this I think it was like her mom and dad's reunion.
Okay.
So but it was super light mystery, humor, single POV, fast paced, lots of good twists. You don't really know what is going on. And then once you get to the end, you're like, I should have fucking known that. But it's worth the read. I really enjoyed it. The
Awesome.
next one, Forgotten Sisters by Cynthia Paleo, and that's another psychological suspense with sisters, and they they basically inherit their family home, which is on the bank of like a river, and a
Oh, I think
bunch
I
of
remember this one.
yeah, a bunch of dead men start creeping up on the side of the river. So yeah, this one was good. It was definitely different than Drop Dead Sisters. It wasn't, there was no humor in it. It was more like family trauma, and the sisters definitely did not know how to cope with anything like grief, being sisters, taking care of each other. It was very, it was out there, but it was good. I enjoyed reading it. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you would like this one as much. You would probably enjoy Drop Dead Sisters a lot more.
Okay.
And then The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Dew. That's a historical horror. And this one is super heavy. This is the one that the author based it off of like someone in her family who had gone to like a reformatory school back in the day, and he ended up
Oh,
dying there.
wait. Yes, I think I remember you talking about this one.
Yeah, it was really good. Super heavy with abuse, racism,
Hmm.
injustice. Basically the
Yeah.
the
I
the
think we
main
both said it was
character.
like a heavy one.
Yeah, and it was one thing I wasn't a huge fan of. So it basically the MMC kicked a white boy for getting too close to his sister one day, and he ended up getting sentenced 6 months to a reformatory school, which everybody thought was insane. Well, everyone of color thought it was insane. Obviously, the white people thought they were getting justice. And basically, the sister, Gloria, is trying to find a way to get him out of there, trying to find lawyers. And back in the day, that was like almost impossible to do.
Right.
Um, the one thing not that I didn't like about it, I just didn't feel like the story needed it, but this is what made it horror. There
Mhm.
was paranormal aspects to it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's a very small part of the book. Didn't need it, but it didn't take away from how much I actually love this book because I gave it a 5 star.
Hmm.
So, yeah. But it's definitely worth the read for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. My turn?
Yeah, your turn.
My turn. So, these are the books that I was hoping to read, but I did not, except for one so far. So the first one was Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young, and she's the author of Out on a Limb, which is a romance book that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
And she's a new to me author, and she's just like one of those authors that you come across and you're like, I have to read everything that they ever written. And that's what I was trying to do, but did not. I failed miserably. But this one is a friends with benefits. He falls first during like a road trip kind of thing. So I was just like, oh my God, I know I'm gonna love it. Didn't read it. At least not yet. The next one is A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya. And she's also a new to me author. This is her like vampire book. So I pre-ordered this one. It hasn't gone in yet. So one, that's one of the reasons why I haven't read it because it's actually one on my December TBR. So I will be reading it this month. So yeah. But this one I believe have fake engagement, Black Cat, wannabe vampire hunter, and vampire boys. And I just feel like it's
Uh,
just gonna be so good and everything that I love in one book. So I'm excited for that one. Next is Tender Beast by Leslie Samberry, right? No, Laselle.
Listelle.
I say that all the time. Laselle Samberry. And this is the YA mystery. You've read it, you've loved
Mhm.
it. I'm most likely gonna do the audio because reading physical books at the moment is just I don't have time for it. So I feel
Yeah.
like this would be like a good audio book to do. And this is about the private school where there's a murder and someone's brother is framed or she believes he's framed for it and she's trying
Mhm.
to clear his name and find who the real killer is. And from your face and from what I remember, you really loved this one and there was a lot of twists and
Good.
turns. So I know
She's
it's gonna be
definitely
good.
an auto buy author for me, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we both love Delicious Monsters, so I
Mhm.
knew since you love Tender Beast, I'm really gonna enjoy it too. So yeah, that's one that I didn't read, but on it's on my TBR, people. It's on my TBR. So a book I did read was Lost and Lassos by Lila Sage. This was like top of my list for November anyway. So once the book dropped, I read it and I read it really fast. This is book 3 in the Rebel Blue Ranch Cowboy series, and it's just so freaking good. Lila Sage is really good at what she does, and that is give you like angsty, spicy scenes, and they're just so good. And her characters all have depth, and they're like there's humor and there's a little bit of, conflict and drama, but it never takes away from the full like romance of a story.
Mhm.
And in this particular book, we are following Gus and Teddy. And out of the 3 books, they're ranked number 2 for me because I still love my Wes and Ada. They're like my favorite from book 2. And I think it's because of Wes. I need you to read this series because
I
I need you
was
to feel what I feel for Wes. And I know
was
romance isn't your
just
thing.
I was just
Romance,
gonna ask you that. I was just gonna say, be honest, do you think it's something that I would enjoy?
I'm 50-50 with it. I
So
feel
you read, so like my kind of like just straight contemporary romance are like Kennedy Ryan,
mm-hmm.
um, Riss Nielsen, is that how you say her
Yes.
name? Those are
Risk
like I
and Nielsen.
love,
Yeah.
love, 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 love those. Anna Huang,
Mm-hmm.
hated them. I read the
Yeah.
first DNF'd it.
Which one is
So
that one?
that's the Twisted Love.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
So it's
com
not okay.
comparable. Like, which way does it lean?
Oh, I'm gonna have to think about that and let you know because
Okay.
it's nowhere near like I feel like the Kennedy side because I feel like with her stories, there's just there's always an underlining like there's so much depth to her stories. Not to say any of these other stories don't have that. I feel like
Hmm.
it touches on heavier topics.
Okay. Yeah.
Almost all her books, like there's always a certain theme that it touches on that
Yeah.
it gets you in like your feels. Where this
Hmm.
is more like ho- a heartfelt, warm, cozy vibes. And I feel like you enjoy it, but then I also feel like it might not be your thing. But it's not like corny rom-com kind of thing. Like it's not like Hallmark.
Okay, because
Because
I
I kind of
can't do rom-com.
Yeah, you can't do rom-com, but it's not like that. It's
Okay.
really, they're really cute books.
Okay.
Um, I feel like you would enjoy. I need you to just read book two. And you don't really necessarily need to read book one. I need you to read book two because there's one particular point towards the end of the book where something happens and it is I fucking love Wes. I love this character
Okay.
because of that one specific moment and I need you to feel that and tell me I'm not crazy for feeling what I feel.
All
And
right, so
that's what I need you to
I'm gonna do book two, if there's an audiobook.
do.
I don't know if there
I
is.
don't know if there is. I don't think why not.
If there's an
I feel
audiobook,
like there is,
I'll
but
do
I
it
could
for
be wrong.
December.
Okay. Even if you don't do it for December and you just one day just read it because really it just follows the Rebel Blue Ranch siblings. So the first one
Okay.
is about Emmy and she comes back from being away from her family and stuff. And book two is about her brother. So you don't necessarily need to know Emmy and like her story because it's
Yeah.
essentially she's coming back home. So her coming back home kind of shifts these romances to start happening between her life and then her siblings because it's
Okay.
her and her two brothers and then someone else, but I'm not going to go into that because
Okay.
it all leads you into the next story kind of thing. But I feel like you can read book two and be fine.
Okay. I will try it. I
Yeah,
will add
I
it
feel
to
like
my
you can
list.
read. I just love Wes so much. But yeah, but number two would be Teddy and Gus. And Gus
Okay.
is like a single cool dad and he's a cowboy dad with like a mustache and he's just like, oh, so good. I feel like you would like Gus.
Okay.
And then Teddy, you're like that. And then Teddy is Emmy's best friend. So the whole premise of Lost and Lassoed is Gus is over his head in the sense where he can't run the ranch and be a present dad because usually he's really good at co-parenting with Riley's mom, which is his daughter's mom, but she's away for the summer, so he has to do everything himself and everything's just like falling apart for him. Like the house is a mess. He's, showing up late to pick up his daughter from soccer practice and everything's just not going his way. So his family picks up on it and they're like, you should have Teddy kind of be like her, Riley's nanny and Teddy and Gus don't like each other, but that's Teddy's best friend and she's always been around the family and she's
Mm,
always been around Riley. So it's not like they have to find someone they don't know and don't really trust when they have someone that they do know and know that she's going to do a good job. So then it's like this tug of war between them and it's just like a loathe to love you and it's so good. So I loved it. So
God.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I want you to read book
I
two.
will. I'll
I
add
think
it to my
you like
list. Like I said, if
hmm
there's an audiobook, I'll add it to December because I don't think I have any audiobooks for December.
Okay. All
All right.
right. What are your next set
See. Okay,
that
I'm
you
gonna
did
do
read?
four more that I
Miss
did
Reader.
read. Yes. All right, so the next few that I have are all audiobooks, and I was like banging these out like the last like couple of weeks. That's all
hmm
I've been doing. So January's by Olivia Blake. This is a short story anthology, all by her, and it's fantasy, modified fairy tales, contemporary heist, poetry. So I enjoyed them. I didn't hate them. There was one that I actually really loved.
hmm
Um, and it's basically about this woman who shows up every full moon on a wish bridge, and people know about it, like people around, they know that this woman's going to show up. They just don't know which bridge she's going to show up at. And
Okay.
basically, she grants wishes. Like there's no consequences or anything. She just grants wishes. Um,
Need
and
that in
then
my
she
life.
meets, I know, she meets this guy, and throughout her story, he never wishes for anything, but he randomly kind of like shows up. So they start kind of trying to find each other every time the full moon comes. And do you want me to spoil it? Are you ever going to read it?
No, is she the one that did the Atlas 6 or
Yeah.
okay. No, spoil it for me. So if you don't want it to be spoiled for you, just stop listening and then come back.
Yeah. Stop listening for like a minute. So basically, they keep showing up, meeting each other randomly by fate because you don't know where she's going to show up. And towards the end of it, he finally decides he wants to make a wish, and his wish is to grant her her freedom so she can see the world, and he takes her place. And it was the sweetest thing. It- yes.
No.
So now he was stuck being like this wish giver and let her have her freedom for like a long time to come. Like
I
it,
want to cry.
and then right at the very end, like the it's sort of like an epilogue type thing, they finally find each other again. And it was
Again.
the sweetest thing in the world. It reminded me of like when Genie and Aladdin like wished for his freedom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. That was my favorite one from
Right
that
as
one.
like a little short, like
It was sweet.
animated like
Mm-hmm.
animation.
Yeah,
Like
that would
you
be
know those
really cool.
short little, oh my God, I would eat that up.
Yeah. And the thing is, this was the very first story. So for me, the rest of the
Um,
stories didn't hold a candle to that.
didn't hold
It was
up.
like the
So
most
it should
perfect
have been the
one.
last story.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm.
I agree.
So
All
if it
right.
was re-edited where the last
Yeah.
stories were first,
So then I thought about that too. Like, what if it was at the end and all these other stories were just like, oh, this is okay? I probably would have given up on the whole entire book. So I'm kind
yikes.
of happy that it was first because I
Hmm.
may have just DNF'd it.
Oh no.
It wasn't awful. It just none of them were like really grasping me. And
Right.
honestly, I don't know for sure if it was because I loved the first one so much.
Mm. True, true.
So
I
I'll never
want to
know.
read it. That sounds, at least I know just to read the first one.
My God. That's funny. That would be a cute little animated short though. It would
Hmm.
be. All right. So my next one is Tangle Root by Kalela Williams. This is a YA fiction, and it's about a girl and her mom who move into a plantation. The mom's a doctor in college, and she's trying to get her, the school that she works at, the name changed to her ancestor because it was changed after so many years or whatever. But he was the one who founded it. Um, this was not bad. Um, it almost just felt like it was like two stories in one because you have like the mom who's one of the main characters and she's fighting so hard to get this school's name changed. And then
Hmm.
you have the daughter who's just kind of running around doing shit. Like she's a teenager. She's um,
Like, girl, what are you doing?
seriously, like she was a typical teenager just being rebellious. Wanted to move to Boston to go to school. She wanted to go live with her dad and go to school in Boston. Her mom didn't want her to. So she felt like her mom was being overprotective. But honestly, like I don't know if it's because I'm a mom too and the stupid shit she was doing, her mom should have been overprotective because she
Mhm.
just wasn't all that.
Yeah.
She was like
The
being
reason
rebellious.
why she was being strict was because she needed a strict parent.
Yeah, like, and she was just doing dumb shit to do dumb shit. So like there was this one family who like they know um and they're very very racist and her mom didn't want her anywhere near them doing any work for them and the daughter needed a dress and the main character the teenager she makes dresses like that's like her superpower and she knows that she shouldn't be making a dress for this girl, but She literally begged her to do it. She was like, okay, even though they're super mean and super racist, she just decided to do it for no reason. Like she wasn't really getting anything out of it.
Anything of it.
Yeah, so it's stupid shit like that. Like it wasn't a
Mhm.
bad book. It was a decent book. Would I recommend it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't
Mhm.
know. Um, my next one is American Rapture by CJ Lead. This was a post-apocalyptic horror, and this is about the girl who was sheltered in a super religious household. There's an outbreak, and it basically makes people feral with lust. Um, it was good. It was actually pretty great. It was triggering. It's
Okay.
violent. There's a lot of death. There's animal death. There's rape. Um,
Mm.
hard, super hard to read, but it was actually a really, really great book.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can read that stuff, then I say go for it. If not, don't because there's a
Don't.
lot of it. Yes.
I mean, if
Um,
it's lust and not everyone wants to do it, I can only imagine how that happens. So yeah,
yeah,
I could
because
see it.
like they're basically like they're infected. They become like these like feral beasts and start attacking people. Like at one point, the MC was in a car trying to drive somewhere, and she noticed someone who looked like he might be infected, and they were stuck in traffic, and he basically like was trying to break the window, like breaking it with his head, his fist,
Oh my
like
God.
that kind of scary, like Walking Dead type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you know what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
it's a little hard to read, but I actually really, really, really liked it a
mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
So my next one is I Am the Dark That Answers When You Call by Jamison Shea. This is book two, in her villain origin story, and it's a paranormal black swan type of book. Um,
I
this
like
one,
black.
yeah, I actually never watched that, but I get the premise of it.
Mm.
Um, this one is basically the consequences of book one, everything that happened in book one. So I can't really talk more about it, but it was definitely worth the read.
Nice.
And those were all audiobooks. Yeah.
I'm hoping to start my audiobook journey this month, so I bought a lot. All right. So, books that was hoping to read. A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. I loved her Bridge Kingdom series. I feel like you would really enjoy that, and they're all on audio.
I have them
Have you listened to
on
them?
audio. No.
You should. They're really good. Add
I
that to
got
the
them
list.
all when like I think like the first three were free at one point, so I got them
Yeah,
all.
they were. They're really good. The like whole audio experience, like there's like sound effects and
Oh
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's a production.
Production. There you go. That's the word. I know I'm gonna enjoy a Fate Inked in Blood. Um, a lot of her books are like slow burns, and I think you told me that this one is like a slow burn because
But it's
all
so
of her books are kind of in that realm. And I just feel like I love um Vikings, and I know this is like a Viking fantasy, so I really want to read it.
I think you
Um,
should. Oh, right from the beginning, it's so like juicy.
I
Love it, love
believe
it.
it. So that's one of the books. Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion is book two in the King Arthur retelling. I didn't, I haven't gotten to this one because I need to do a reread.
I reread, yeah.
I
I'm gonna
have
do
to.
it too.
I have to do a reread, and I might actually wait closer to book three so I can just do pop, 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 and then
So it
it'll
comes
be
out
fresh.
in March.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do January book one, February book
February
two,
book two.
and then we read book three in March.
I like that. And then we could do an
We do
episode
an
on it.
episode.
Yep.
I'm
I'm
so
down for that. So I'll do that. So yeah, this is King Arthur. Arthur retelling, and it's really, really good. Arthur mythology and all that. And I loved book one. I'm just bad. Okay. I'm just bad. I'm all over the place with my reads. Another one that this is the top of my TBR for sure. But
Okay.
I also need to do a reread, but I'm gonna do an audio reread to do it faster. And that's The Blood Gift by Annie Davenport. Um, it's the Blood Trials book two, and this is a fucking duology. Like, I don't know, whatever. Like, I'm just terrible. But anyway, it's high stakes, action packed, with romance, and I know it's if it's anything like book one, I know book two is gonna be good. And a lot of my mutuals love the duology, so I feel like it is gonna be really good. Some of my mutuals are even saying that they were hoping it would have been a trilogy, but they understand why it's a duology. So I'm eager to find out like why they feel that way. Another one that I need to do a reread for in order to read the next one is The Follower of Flowers by Natalia Hernandez, and I know you loved it. This is the sequel to Name Bearer. It's a Latin fantasy with queer rep, found family, has warrior women. I mean, sounds
I loved it.
awesome. Like, hello. I need to do a reread though, because
Yeah.
book one, I remember there was like a lot of elements, and I know I'm gonna forget. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna read book two and be like kind of confused. So I know I'll have to do a reread for those.
They have audiobooks now, so
I know. So I might do the audios for that, or even do like a tandem read, like do a little
mhm,
audio, a little bit
yeah.
physical, and just like go back and forth. Another one that's not at the top of my list, and that's probably why I haven't gotten to it, is Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver. I hear very mixed reviews on it too.
Cute.
And um I loved Butcher and Blackbird. I didn't think I would like serial killer romances, but I guess I do. But this one, the more that I wait and I hear about it, the more I don't want to read about it, if
Is
that makes
book did book one end on a in a good spot where you were just like, I don't need to read book two if I didn't want to?
kind of, because it's honestly, from what I remember, their romance happens. And this is just another, like, characters from that book
Oh, okay.
and now their romance. So it's not like where, if I remember, because they're serial killers who kill serial killers, but it's bad. It's almost like Dexter. You know how Dexter
Mm,
finds serial killers who
yeah.
like do really bad things and not they're not good people. So
Yeah.
basically that's what book one was about, where these two serial killers who hunt down these people, and one happens to save the other, and then they do like a competition kind of thing. They become competitive about it and then develop a romance. And Leather and Lark are just two characters from that book that know these serial killers and kind of do the same thing. I want to believe. I'm not entirely sure. But it's a enemies to lovers, and supposedly he falls first, but I don't know. And then she always does something with like food, and it
I did
grosses
hear
people
that.
out.
I did
Because
hear that.
last time it was ice cream. This time I forget what this one is. But it's like, I love food. Don't play with food.
She's ruining food for you.
Don't ruin food for us. So like, because I keep waiting and I'm hearing more and more, I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I want to read it. But then a lot of people have mixed reviews about um Butcher and Blackbird, and I loved it. And some people were like, this is crazy. Like, don't read
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, I fucking enjoyed it. So I'm like mixed on it. And there's a lot of other ones that I need to get to before then. So I have
Yeah.
to. Now,
Okay.
one that I did read, and it's a fantasy, and I enjoyed it, was Lore of the Wilds by Annalise Sobrana. And this is the enchanted forest with the human and the fae. And I feel like you would enjoy this. I feel like it's something like you could breeze through too. Like it's not anything like super complicated kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the ending caught me off guard. So that's why I'm really excited for book two because like I I I at the beginning of the book, I was very skeptical, and then the ending happened, and I was shocked, but I was just like, why didn't I trust my gut in the beginning kind of thing? But anyway, we have Lore, who is a human living in this fey human kind of like world or
Mhm.
realm where, but the humans are kind of like at the bottom of like the social ladder. They're very like mistreated, so much so that they are only able to live in this like one region of this like whole land. And there's these woods that block off where they lived. And anytime they try to go into the woods, they get really scared and they think there's monsters and all these things start to happen. So no one actually ventures into the woods. So they're always in this one little area. And one day the Fae come and they're looking for um Lore's aunt. And instead of her going with the Fae, her aunt going, Lore goes in for her. Like she takes her place
Okay.
um, because her aunt and her uncle, they are they kind of they've taken over like an orphanage. So they take care of a lot of like young children and she felt one, her aunt is very old, so whatever the Fae are gonna ask her to do, she may not be healthy enough to do that. And two, like the children really need her. So she was like, I'm young, I'm capable, I'll go. So basically, she goes into the Fae Kingdom, and the steward of the royals is like, "Hey, we have this enchanted library. The Fae are no longer allowed to go into this library. They haven't been able to go in like hundreds of years. Anytime one of us try to go in, we're like disintegrated, like they die." So he was like wondering if a human can go into there and
Bitch,
find,
no.
right.
Oh my, I mean,
He's
honestly,
wondering,
I would probably be like, yes, I will do it for you.
right. So he's like, we can't go, but we suspect that humans are able to, they won't be, subjected to the same thing. So she's like, I'll do it, but you have to go help my people because there was an earthquake that happened and a lot of people lost their homes. The humans are very poor. Like I said, they're not able to trade or do anything. They're only, they only have this one little place. So whatever resources are there is the only
Yeah.
resources that they have. And this earthquake kind of like fucked up everything for them. So she was like, I'll go, but please send your like best engineers and like help our people and I'll do this for you. So he's like, sure, we'll do that. So she goes, she starts cleaning this library. He's like, oh, if you find anything of value or you suspect that it's like magical or anything, bring it to me. And she's like, okay. So
Mm.
one day she's cleaning and the library's enchanted because she stumbles on its enchantment where if she voices what she wants, the books that have like say you want to learn about herbs or something and say that out loud, all the books that have something to do with that begin to shake or make a noise.
Oh, cool. My God.
So I forget how this happens, but one particular book calls for her. And so she takes it and she doesn't tell anyone that she has it. And because she has this book, she's able, she goes back and forth whether or not she wants to keep it or tell him. And she's like, I just want to see, she's curious. And she uses the book to look at her human kingdom to check on them. And she finds out that the steward was lying and that her people are even worse than when she left. So she's like, fuck these people. I'm about to take this book back home and help my people, whatever. But of course, in the process, she gets caught by some of the guards. And now she has to trust one particular guard who's kind of been her escort because she's only supposed to go to her bedroom, to the library to get food and then back to her room. So he's been her escort the whole time. So
Yeah.
she kind of knows him and she kind of has to like trust him at this point. And so they go off into like their little adventure. I don't want to say any more. But yeah,
Okay.
it's really good. The ending, I was like, it's a little bit of a love triangle too. So I enjoyed it.
No, I love a
And
good love triangle.
yeah, this one
My
was good
fave.
because honestly, I was rooting for one more than the other. And I love when I do that. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. And it's
Okay.
really good.
It's on my list. I don't know when I'm gonna get
Yeah.
to it.
Hmm. But it's a good one. And I don't know how you feel about this. Has this ever happened to you where you're like, "Oh, I'm currently reading this," or "I can't wait to read this," and someone comments like, "Oh, I read it and didn't like it."
That happened to me a while back, not recently though, and I just delete those comments because they're so
I just
frustrating.
ignored it. I just ignored it, but
I
I'm
delete
just like,
them.
I should have
Like nobody
deleted
asked
it.
you.
But I'm like, I'm excited to read this, and you're like, oh, I didn't like it. Like I didn't ask that. I was
I
excited about
hate
reading this
that.
book, and
Hate it.
I don't know. The only time I comment something related to that is when someone says they don't like a book, and I'm like, oh, really? I kind of enjoyed it, and I leave it at that. But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go onto your page. At least I don't think I have.
Yeah. The
I
most
don't
I
think
would
I
say
have. I
about
don't think
that,
that's something I would do.
no, I would never like the most I would say is oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Like something along those lines. Like I would never elaborate that I didn't like it or I liked it, vice versa or whatever. I
Mhm. I
I
don't
just
think
can't
I've done
imagine
that.
like
And if I have, I'm sorry, but like I don't know. It made me feel like some type of way because I started to read it. I'm like, I don't know what this chick is talking about because this is good.
yeah, I
I
know.
enjoyed it. I
I
don't know. I think you still have a few, right?
I do.
Okay.
So my next one is Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. And this is a gothic horror about five people who work night shifts, and every night they meet, or they don't meet, they cross paths in a cemetery until one day they find an empty grave. Um, so this wasn't scary,
Mhm.
which was fine. I liked it. I enjoyed reading it, but I didn't think it was scary at all. It basically it had to do with illegal experiments. I think
Okay.
that's really all I can say about it
Okay.
without spoiling it and
Spoiling it.
ruining it. My next one, Beautiful Broken Love. I was so hesitant about this one by Shonora Williams. This is a sports romance. Super light on the sports. He just plays sports and it doesn't bring anything to the story, so it's basically
Okay.
just a romance. And I enjoyed it. It's one of those like there's a lot of grief, so there's more of like sad moments. Like she lost her husband, so she's trying to find love
Mhm.
after loss.
Mhm.
Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's sweet. It was spicy. I loved reading it. I mean, I enjoyed every moment of it. So I've got no notes on that one. It was
Oh,
just a good,
nice.
yeah,
A good
I
book.
enjoyed it. And I read it really fast. So, um, my next one, I am 100% obsessed with it. I love it. I want everyone to read it. It's a YA horror and contemporary fantasy. It's These Vengeful Wishes by Vanessa Montalban. And this is about a girl who discovers a possessed wishing well and a female spirit who ignites her teenage vengeance, I guess.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's really, really good. It's folklore, so it's a retelling of La Segua. And basically La Segua is where I had to look it up because I'd never heard of it before. It's a spirit who basically kidnaps men who cheat and are drunks and sends them
That.
back even more messed up, I guess. Like
Mhm.
she pretty much tortures them. I don't know
Where's
what
she
she does with
at?
them, but
Where's she at? She need to be more active.
she does need to be more active. Uh, so basically, the FMC and her mom, something goes wrong. They have to move back to her mom's hometown and move into this mansion that her mom supposedly helped like clean up when she was younger. The town is super eerie. I loved following the FMC, like when she's uncovering a bunch of secrets that has to do with the house, the
Mhm,
town, and then her own family, because her mom doesn't talk a lot about her past. It was
mhm.
really, really good. It is not scary at all, so it's a horror that you can read.
Yay!
Yes, and not a single part of it was scary, but I get the whole like horror part of it because it's a spirit that seeks like vengeance on these men. So yeah, it was really, really good. I
No, that
enjoyed it.
sounds really
That
good.
actually doesn't come out till February, I think.
Oh, nice.
My last one I did not read, did not get to it. Immortal Dark by Tigis Germa. This is the dark academia fantasy with vampires, a lost heiress who infiltrates an arcane society and ends up living with a vampire who killed her family. It sounds
Ooh,
good. I don't know
it does sound
why
really good.
I haven't picked it up. So I wanted to add it to my TBR. That's kind of sort of where I was getting to earlier for like December. But then, like, when you get closer to the month and you're like, oh, I forgot I want to read this. I forgot I want to read that. And now I have like a little list going and I just don't know if I'm going to get to it.
Right.
So,
At least not this month, but you could always
oh,
do it
yeah.
next month.
I mean, I bought the book. I have to get to it.
Hmm.
Oh, I
Oh
just,
yeah,
I just,
Miss 700 books or something like that.
782,
Seven what?
82,
That's
782.
insane. That's crazy.
And
That's
I've read 48% of it. So I'm like
that's not bad.
halfway. It's not. I know. I was shocked. I'm about halfway. And
I'm
the
not
thing is, like,
even
I've been
1%.
slowing down on buying, and most of
Okay.
what I get are pre-orders or if like I get an
Mhm.
arc or something. So
Art. Yeah.
as long as I stop buying books, I can catch up,
Have
maybe.
you done an unhaul yet?
And do what? Give them to other people? No.
But it will be like books you know you're never
Okay.
gonna read.
Yeah, but I'm never gonna reread a lot of my books.
No, I'm not talking about books that you've read and would reread. I'm talking about books that you know you're not gonna like, and you know you're
But
not
what
gonna read it
but
after.
what if I do end up liking it? What if I would be giving up a gem?
That's true. That's always my fear, honestly. I'm
Yes.
like, what if one day one of these books is $1 million, $1 million book? That's why I'm so scared to get. But I honestly, I
I
want to do
can't.
an unhaul though. I kind of do. There are books that I know I'm never gonna read. but I like to see them on my shelves
Yeah.
because my shelves are so full. But I'm like,
I just can't do it. I don't think I can. I'd have to at least try to read it. It makes me
but I
anxious.
love, so Angel got me one of those like library beep, beep, beep
A scanner?
thingies. Yeah. So I need to do that because I want to start scanning my books and knowing like what I have and like cataloging it. Because I know you just finished doing that, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I cataloged everything. I'm
So
not
how
done.
many?
Like I have like all the books I have are on this Excel sheet, but I wanted to catalog them like genre.
Hmm.
Um, what was the other thing? I don't remember. I wrote it down somewhere, but genre is
Okay.
the only thing I don't have on there that I wanted to sort them by. And then like whether I read them or not, and if they're
Mhm.
arcs or not.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm jelly.
it took a long time.
780. That's crazy. That's insane. So I missed a few books, so I'm just gonna briefly talk about them really, really
Okay.
fast. All right, so it was Tiffany D. Jackson. It's Monday's
Mhm.
Not Coming and Allegedly. However, I'm currently listening to Allegedly, and when I tell you, as soon as we get off, I'm gonna be listening to it because it's getting really, really good. Now, Allegedly is the one that's about this girl named Mary, who's a teen who spent six of a 15-year sentence in jail, like in custody, because she allegedly killed a baby. Like she murdered a baby. And every time she even talks about it, she's like allegedly, like every time. And I love the audiobook because we're getting her perspective on how what's currently happening to her and like her group home because she's no longer in prison. She's currently in a group home with other girls who are just as crazy. No, these kids are really crazy, but her, we don't know. We don't know
Okay.
because it's alleged. But I love that we're getting her perspective of her current life. But as her story is progressing, we get like little glimpses of like the case of like, oh, the case on the night, of the alleged attack or whatever. This is what happened. This is what police officers reported. So we get a little bit of that in the audiobook. So I like how it's formatted and oh, I don't know if I want to say
No, don't,
more.
because I definitely want to read that one.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm listening to it right now and it's really, really good.
Um,
So I'll be done with that today or probably tonight or tomorrow. And then
mm,
Monday's Not Coming is the one where the friend goes missing and no one seemed to care and then she comes back. Or did she? It's something like that. Like her friend goes missing and no one cares that she's missing. So her friend is trying to find out what happened to her,
okay.
if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's another one that I know is going to be really good.
Is
And I think that
allegedly is that audiobook like really good, like the Weight in Blood audiobook?
I like the narrator. I really like the way the narrator is talking. It's not, at least I haven't heard because I feel like the weight of their blood, there were multiple narrators. Like it was like a whole production, wasn't it? Like you get
Yes.
male voices,
I know it was
female
like
voice.
a whole production, but I can't remember if it was like two narrators or not.
I feel like it was because I feel like we had like male voices, female voices, and I feel like it was more than one
Oh, no, it
person.
was. It was because they were doing the podcast,
Yes.
right? Were they
So
doing podcast? Yeah.
yeah, it was a podcast. Um It's not like that because I feel like it's only one narrator, but she's so good. I like, I just like her voice and how she's narrating it as like a young teen. I wonder
Mhm.
if the narrator is a like young person or if it's like an older woman playing down her voice or something because
Yeah.
you kind of feel like you're listening to a teen roll, going through the motions of life and what's happening to her. And it's just like knowing what I know about weight of the weight of their blood. I'm like, do we believe her? Do we not? Oh, I just love that like unknown. Like who do you
Yeah.
believe kind of thing. And it's like really, really good. And I think that was the only one I missed. The follower of life. Yeah. So yeah, that one I'm currently listening to. So,
Yeah,
and
definitely
I
want to
think
read that
you would.
one.
No, I think you're gonna like it. But yeah, those
Yeah.
were all of them. I
And
know you
maybe,
were talking about your TBR.
yeah,
So,
maybe we could talk about what we have for December.
mm,
Yeah? Okay. I have four right
yeah.
now. Well,
Okay.
five, 4.5.
Hmm.
So the first one I have that I for sure want to get done is Numinous and the prequel Songbird by Victoria Woods. And it's been sitting on my TBR since like February of this year. It's a Southern paranormal contemporary fantasy. I don't
That
know a
sounds
lot about it, but I know every time she posts about it, I'm like, I really just have to get to it. And she's the same one
mhm.
that did a love, discovery, and other things like the
Okay.
mummy
I've heard of,
sort of contemporary
yeah,
fantasy.
I think I've seen that one. Hmm.
Yeah, which I freaking love. So I'm trying out the fantasy. She has fantasy, she has contemporary romance, and then she has a mafia one. So I'm gonna try to get through her
Nice.
whole backlist, hopefully, because she has
Hmm.
a new book coming out next year. So I want to try to finish her books. So that's
Fun.
first. And then I'm gonna listen to Syndicate of Sins by Mari Maravilla, and that's book two in the Toxic Paradise series. We both read Skeletons of Society and
Oh,
so
good.
good. Oh, I did it.
Yeah.
Like I was like pleasantly surprised by how much I actually really loved that book. It was
No,
so
I
good.
really, really like that one. And the
Mhm.
audiobook is really, really good.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
I'm doing the audiobook for this one, for book two.
For book two. Hmm.
Yep. It was on sale.
Oh,
So I
nice.
just grabbed it. I was like, yes. And then I'm gonna do The Daughter of Dan Ray by Natalia Hernandez because book one and book two are still fresh in my mind, so I need to hurry up and get this one done.
Yes.
So that's
Don't
book
wait
three
like
in the
me.
Flowers of Prophecy. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna get it done.
Is it gonna be a trilogy? Do you know, or
I think
do
that's
you
it. Yeah.
this that
I
third
thought it
one?
was. I thought she said it was gonna be a trilogy.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Hmm.
I kind of hope it is.
Hmm. I
I
hope
don't know.
it is too, because I need
I
to
hope
catch
it's
up.
just that. Yeah,
And if
like
and if it keeps going, I don't know when I'm gonna catch up. So,
but she just came out with another one, Asiri and the Amaru, but I haven't read that one yet. So I'm hoping that this is just it and then done with it. So I can move on
mhm,
to that one. And then
right.
my last one is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. It's been on my TBR for I can't even fucking tell you. And I feel like everybody's reading it right now. Like, why is
So,
everybody reading it right now?
so I've been this is why I'm so mad at myself because I started the audio and
Okay.
it is really good. And I think this would be a book you would really, really enjoy.
Hmm.
And then I stopped. Don't know why. I think I wound up reading something else. And now I'm gonna have to restart it because I remember some of it, but I feel like I'm missing something. So now I might not even do the audio. I might just physically read it because
Is
I
the
feel like
audiobook not catchy enough? Because I wasn't planning on doing the audio, but because I haven't
I
heard of
don't
anybody doing the audio and loving it. Like it's
know.
one of those that are like
I don't
do
think
it.
it's catchy enough for audio.
Okay.
To be honest, at least for my attention span, because even I remember I was folding clothes and then my mind wandered and then I was just like, wait, what happened? So I feel like it's something that you would have to physically read, but you would really enjoy it because when I was paying attention, I did really, really like it. So I don't know if it was just like me in my own head or like what I was doing, but I wound up stopping and then also I lost my AirPods for a while, so that didn't help. And I can't just be blasting audiobooks on my phone because I never know what's
Yeah,
gonna
no.
happen and I got kids.
Yeah.
Uh, but it is good. So when you start it, let me know because I would want to read it with you because I
Yeah.
feel like you would really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
gonna be like one of my last ones for
mhm.
December, if not early January. Because I really do want to try and get it done. I think about it all the time. I bought the two books. I just
You got
haven't.
pretty ones too.
I did. I
No,
really did.
but I think you would like it because when I was like I said when I was paying attention, it was good.
When I was
I feel like
listening, it was good.
when I was listening, and my mind wasn't on a million other things, it was good. Um, but that's a good one to have on your TBR. For me, for sure, I'm going to read A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya. That's the vampire one. For sure, The Blood Gift by Annie Davenport because I need to like I'm just holding on to these books and like I need to read it.
I actually
So
bought
those
the audiobook for that one, the first one.
you know what's funny? I'm wondering I wanna do the audiobook of book one to see if I'll like it even more than when I read it myself. But I'm gonna do the audio because I feel like it'll help jumpstart what I remember and
Hmm.
then I can jump right into the blood gift. And then the third one was what was the third one? Tender Beast. I will kick myself if I do not read this book because that's a book I've had since it was released. And I think it was released in like February, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
was
that I have to get to.
good.
So they're all part of my 12 for 12. No new books.
I'm glad. I'm glad you didn't add more to the list you
No,
wanted to read to begin with.
no, I can't. I can't add any more. I'm barely even like taking in art. There were a
Yeah.
few arts that they were like, "Oh, download now.
Hmm.
Get this art." And I'm just like, "No, I can't. I can't do it." There's books that have been on my TBR in my mind that I need to read. And there were actually two from a book convention that I went, no, a book signing that I went to our local Barnes and Noble a while
Hmm.
back that I still haven't read and I need to read because I'm like, I've been wanting to read them and I keep not doing it.
Yeah.
So
It
this,
happens, you know.
I need to put a dent in this
You know
somehow,
what?
somewhere.
You know what I wish that the
That I
authors would just
didn't work.
stop.
Me too.
No, that authors would just stop writing. Like nobody writes for the year 2025.
So
So we
that
could just,
everyone could catch up on their
yep, just
TBR.
just take a pause
Mhm.
or write, but don't release anything until 2026. And then we can all catch up just a little bit and then we'll all be happy.
No, you know what authors do now? They go
What?
on like threads or like I'm on Blue Sky now and they do these like little blurbs that you don't know they're a blurb. They're like, "Oh, this is what's happening right now." And then it's like the premise of their book.
Huh.
And you don't realize that until towards the end and you're like, "I want to read that." There was one
That's smart.
recently. It's very smart because what was it was something about I was invited to my ex's wedding with my ex best friend. And of course, I have to go to show them something about like, I'm good, like, I don't need them kind of thing. And my grandmother found out about the wedding and she told them that I am dating a surgeon or something like that. And the surgeon is someone who's like helping the grandmother somewhere. I don't know if it's her nursing home or something. And it's like
Mm,
one of her nurses or something. And he agrees to go with her
that
and
sounds
pretend
good.
to be in love with her, right?
That does sound good.
And I was just like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah. And this is my book, like in the comments. And I was just like, I think I saved it too. Because I'm like, I need to get it
Yeah,
because I
that
want to
is
read
really
it.
smart. That's a good way to market
So
the
smart.
book.
And all the comments were like, you got me. Like I was trying to figure out who like
Yeah, because
um
people love the drama, so you're gonna read thinking it's like happening to her.
yes,
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
Some marketing, some authors got some marketing in their back pocket because that got my ass. Because I definitely saved her thread. It was on Threads, and I saved it, and I was just like, I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna come back to you because I want to know what happens.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's it for us. Those were our 12 for 12 recap. Like I said, Jenny is an awesome reader.
More than like
Life
quite
wasn't
a few of
lifing.
them were like this week and last week, honestly. Like I was banging them out so much. My
For
brain just
me,
didn't
I'm like,
shut off.
December's not over. There's still
Yeah,
time. There's still
there's
time.
plenty of time.
I'll
I'll
just
get to
have to
my
do my
one.
12 weeks in like 12 days. No biggie.
That's wild.
That should be
Um,
no, I saw someone do like I forget it was like 20 books in like 30 days or something like that and like that was like a challenge for herself and I'm just like
no,
how like
nope,
you're amazing because I can barely read two books in 1 week, let alone five or six. People who could do that, amazing. I need
no.
their
I
reading ability.
don't. My average is like on a good week is 3 books in 1 week, but I haven't been able to do that in a
I have
while.
this
Like
year,
it's been a while. Yeah, like my brain is just like not in it.
even in the summer, summers have always been where a majority of my reading happens. And this summer, I couldn't do it. I was just like not in a reading space. Like I just it almost felt like work instead of enjoyment, if that makes sense. Like I
Yeah.
felt like I was trying to like keep up with everyone else that it was just like it made me not want to do it even more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then
Agree.
trying to catch up now is just like, ugh. Now I want to, but it's just like I feel like I'm running out of time, as if like the new year like is gonna like I'm not gonna
It
be
like
here or something. I
resets.
need to
There's
get
gonna be a thousand more books added to your TBR. Now you'll never get to your old books.
that's how I
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I
feel.
really wanted to try to make like my goal for the year to read my physical TBR or a decent amount of it, but I don't know if I can do that. I'm gonna have to think about that.
Oh, I think it's my physical TBR and just being okay if I don't get to it and not holding like a grudge against myself for not doing it.
I do.
I need to like relax. Like
Ugh, I wish I could do that. Like I'll look at a book, like I'll just like turn around and be like, "Oh shit, I really wanted to read that. What the hell am I doing?" And 5 minutes later, forget that it's even there. Yeah.
no, how about like you go to actually read it and then you're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna scroll somewhere." And then you see a blurb and you're like, I'm
Hmm.
gonna read that. And then you read it and then you devour that book instead of the book you were just literally reading.
Yep.
That's my problem.
That's what I did. Um, was it Sunday? I was working Saturday into Sunday night, and I was reading on my Kindle, and somebody
Mhm.
messaged me from work and said, "Look at this." I was like, "Bet, I'm reading it right now." So I stopped reading it to
Mhm.
read this one, which was
Mhm.
69 pages about a woman being banged by
By the
turkey
back
bait.
the turkey baster.
It was so much fun and cringy. So weird.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can do like objects being like alive and
It
like
was weird.
mhm.
It
I
really
could only
was.
imagine. It's a turkey baster. Like, does
He
it
said,
talk?
he said, "I'm gonna give you my nozzle." I'm telling you, I laughed the
No.
entire time
No.
reading. And it
Jenny.
was so good. Not good, like, but it was like the most entertaining and fun I've had reading a book in a while. Like I
That,
laughed the entire time, and it took me 45 minutes to read.
mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious and also crazy.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God, the things people write. We're gonna read
Yeah.
it.
We're
We're
we're,
gonna
I-
question.
we're
We're gonna
clearly
question it, but we're gonna read it. Well, that's it for us for season 3, episode 21. Thank you
gonna.
so much for listening. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.